Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 meeting of the Frankfurt Architectural Review Board to order. Madam Secretary, if you'll please call the roll.
Lori McIntyre,
Here.
Michael Nichols, here. Jennifer Oberlin,
Here.
Patty Cross,
Here.
Jane Goddard, John Gilbert,
Here.
Tucker Billiter.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the November 18th, 2025 and December 4th, 2025 meeting minutes, or just, yeah, both meeting minutes. I will entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
I think that's an all in favor.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Ayes have it, minutes approved. Next, we move on to the first order of new business, the chairperson's report and administrative approvals. I do not have a report, so we will turn it over for administrative approvals.
Good evening. I'm Vicki Bierenberg, Historic Preservation Officer. I have 3 administrative approvals to tell you about from the period of November 7th to January 12th. In the Special Capital Historic Zoning District, we issued a permit for a carport that was less than 200 square feet in size. Also a permit for the carport was at 217 East Todd Street. And at 119 West Todd Street, we issued a permit for an 18 by 18 inch paver patio and retaining wall, which is not visible from a public right-of-way. In the Central Business Historic Zoning District at 214 West Main Street, we issued a permit to move an existing sign across West Main to new offices. OHM is opening a new office, and the sign is moving with them. So that's all I have for that. I do have a few staff updates, just to kind of let you guys know what's going on with historic preservation activity in the city. First of all, we have hired HMB to work on the Holmes Street survey project that you all endorsed last year, and we applied for funding from the Kentucky Heritage Council for. We had a public meeting on December 17th and invited the neighborhood to come and learn about that architectural survey and also the National Register designation process. And we had about a dozen people that showed up for that meeting. So that was good. The project manager from HMB, Cynthia Johnson, was there to answer any questions they might have. And the field work is set to begin before the end of this month. This will be for approximately 80 properties. We were asked by the Heritage Council to divide the project into 2 phases. So we will be applying for grant funding to complete the 2nd phase, and that deadline to apply is March 3rd. The first phase of the survey will be completed by June of this year, and the 2nd phase, if we are awarded funding, will be completed by June of 2027. Also in December, we applied to host the May 2027 statewide Historic Preservation Conference in partnership with the Kentucky Heritage Council. Our local partners include Visit Frankfurt and DFI, and we will be applying for a 2nd CLG grant by March 3rd to ask for a little bit of funding to assist with the planning and presentation of this conference. You may have noticed I have not scheduled a work session for 2026. We normally do that in February. It's just been incredibly busy, and a lot of us have been sick, including myself. But if you want to do this, this would be a special meeting to have some training, potentially by Mr. Logan, and also to set a work plan for the year. So please let me know how you feel about that, if you'd like to do that, and we'll get something scheduled. I will be completing our certified local government annual report by January 30th. So if you all have done any education that I don't know about related to historic preservation, let me know and I can include it in the report. And finally, in December, the National Park Service approved all of our documents, our draft documents, for what we are calling the Frankfurt Historic Investment Program, or HIP. This will be our grant program that's gonna be funded with the Paul Bruin Revitalization Grant that we got from the Park Service. That grant was in the amount of $750,000 federal dollars, and it's being matched by the state for an extra 400 plus. And so we're gonna have just over $1 million to distribute. And we hope to open that application process this spring. There will be mandatory workshops for all potential applicants, so they will understand the requirements of receiving a grant, and I will keep you posted on that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Vicki.
You're welcome.
So that took care of item number 2, under new business. Item number 3, election of officers. We'll open up for nominations. I am going to nominate John Gilbert for chair. I'm ready to pass the baton. There any seconds? We second that, correct?
Second.
All
Mr.
right.
Billiter.
Is that an all in favor?
We'll vote that one.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Tucker?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Sure.
Miss Oberlin?
Yes.
Miss Pass? Yes. Cross, I put both of your names together. And, Miss McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion carries.
There we are. Does that mean he carries out the rest of the meeting?
As soon as you
Minutes.
do vice chair.
Let's go out with a bang.
I think you started this, I think you want to finish.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's only
please
appropriate.
do.
It's the only reason I did this, guys. No, I'm just kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. Okay, we do vice chair? Okay, nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Patty Cross.
All second. So please call the roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Miss Oberlin?
Yes.
Miss Cross?
Oh, my.
And Miss McIntyre.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, there we are. Okay, item of new business number 4, adoption of the 2026 Architectural Review Board calendar. It was enclosed in your packet. I don't think there are any changes from our normal format. So really, nothing there. Acknowledging there is no meeting in December, preferably unless one is necessitated, and then she did include a schedule for that. So, any discussion? No? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved?
Second.
Was that you, Mr. Nichols? Thank you.
I think so.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Miss Oberlin?
Yes.
Miss Cross?
Yes.
Miss McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, calendar has been adopted. Now we will move on to item number 5 under new business. Dawn, if you will please read the proposal.
In accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfurt zoning ordinance, Judith Steinbeck is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a non-owner occupied short-time rental at the property located at 719 Woodland Avenue. The property is more particularly identified as PVA number 06214070025.00.
Okay, can you all hear me? I didn't ask that before, okay. Our first case is in the Special Capital Historic District, and the property is located at 719 Woodland Avenue. This house is a historic one-story T-plan, It was built around the turn of the century, somewhere between 1890 and 1910, most likely. It is considered contributing to the South Frankfort Neighborhood National Register District, and the application is for a conditional use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental. As you are aware, we do have a cap in place now for this district. The cap is equal to 5% of the total dwelling units, and that amounts to 56. If this application is approved, it will be number 44. This application does comply with the existing zoning regs, parking requirements, the comprehensive plan, and we are recommending approval with conditions. Here's a PVA map showing the location of the property on Woodland Avenue. There are some additional photos here that are also in your staff report. Top one is showing kind of the front and south sides of the house. It's also the rear of the house and the deep yard, which backs up to Shaw Lane. And here's some photos of the neighborhood. This is one of many T-style houses along Woodland, T-plan style along Woodland Avenue. That's on the east side. This is on the west side. You can see there's some multifamily apartment buildings in the mix. The findings for the general conditions that must be met in Article 19 for a conditional use permit are all positive, at least the relevant ones. And staff is recommending approval in accordance with the suggested findings of fact on page 4 and 5 of the staff report and the recommended conditions on page 5. And I will be happy to answer any questions if I can.
Any questions for Vicki?
Nope.
Thank you, Vicki. If the applicant is present or a representative of the applicant, if they'll please come forward.
May I stay here?
Yes, well, let me make sure sound-wise. Can you guys pick her up sound-wise? Ma'am, I'm sorry, you have to come up to the podium so that we can make sure it gets recorded.
He's gonna take a mic to her.
Oh, wait, he's bringing something to you.
Okay, thank
There we go. He's gonna bring the podium to you. How's that?
Thank you so much.
So if you'll please state your name and your address.
Judith Steinbach, 719 Woodland Avenue, Frankfort, Kentucky, 40601.
And did you receive a copy of the staff report?
No, I did not.
Ooh, no, I did not.
To that address? Okay. Okay.
I'm not sure I've ever seen where the applicant hasn't received the staff report. Have to defer to legal.
Well, it depends on whether she wants to talk you out of the recommended approval.
So normally I would ask if you've seen the conditions for approval and agreed with the findings in the report.
Right.
Yeah, there are some there, they're there.
Uh-huh.
What would you like to tell us about the proposal?
Well, I'm eager to have an Airbnb at this property. I also would like to claim it as my personal residence when I'm not doing that. I'm moving back to Frankfort, and I feel it's a good house. It's a single story. It's safe. It's just had the hardwood floors refinished, bathroom redone. Everything is up to code. HVAC. The basement is sealed. There's been an outside trench dug so that there will be no more water seepage toward the house. As you can tell from the outside of the front, it's kind of, over the years, it has sunk into the ground a bit toward the front. There should be no more of that. Big rooms, comfortable, safe, pleasant, beautiful lighting, and I'm hoping you approve it. Based upon this information, yeah, I'm feeling positive about what you've said.
So you would agree with those conditions?
Yes,
Okay. And I want to make sure I understand what I heard, that you're going to operate this more in the traditional Airbnb model where you will live there
yeah,
until which time someone rents it, and then you will
that's
let
right,
them have it for that period of time.
right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are there questions for the applicant? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Now, I am going to assume there are members of the public here to speak on this proposal, and if so, if you'd raise your hands. I see one. Okay. Please come to the podium and state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Laura Haig at 323 West 3rd Street. I've been here before to speak generally about non-owner occupied short-term housing and what I think are the impacts on Frankfurt. I won't repeat the studies that I relayed previously. We all know that in the short term, non-owner occupied short-term rentals can be good for our economy, but the long term is they're bad for housing affordability and actually the number of housing stock that we have here in Frankfurt. And as you all know, experiencing this flood that we have, we still have some people displaced. One of the things I wanted to express, because I also went to the commissioners and other people have written in, and I know there's some discussion back and forth, like who should talk about if we should have any changes. And I want to say generally in cities, when you pass ordinances, a lot of times things do need to be tweaked. It's not a reflection on any person or any board or anything, but when you realize it's put into place, something doesn't exactly work right. I would appreciate or encourage you all, as the members of this board, who were appointed to look out for our short-term benefits and our long-term benefits for the community, to consider two changes. One is that the 5% cap excludes commercial dwelling units. One of the things I mentioned before is that if you look, for example, on 3rd and Shelby, and there's other streets as well, you will have, at least there's 2 offices that are across the street, diagonally across the street from each other, and then you also have 3 non-owner occupied short-term rentals. It becomes a dead zone. And in looking at the cap for South Frankfurt, because it includes this commercial, I don't think it's a fair and accurate representation of people living and using as non-owner occupied short-term rentals. I would ask that you and staff and others look at that, because we do have dead zones. The other way we have dead zones is the concentration. So previously, speaking about the concentration where, for example, on Arnett Street, there's 13 dwelling units and 6 are non-owner occupied short-term rentals. That's almost 50% of this one short block. It's a dead zone. This Arnett runs into Woodlawn, and I know we only have, I think there's 3 on Woodlawn, and thinking about, because there's one that's gonna come on later this year, it impacts community. We know, of course, there's some on New Street and elsewhere. I would just ask that people think about the future. What do we want Frankfurt to look like? Do we want these dead zones? Because we still have 12 more that we can do. And they could be just concentrated in certain areas. And is that also fair to the people who live there as well? These 2 tweaks, I think, are reasonable, that you all could recommend to the commission. And in the meantime, you can just put a short moratorium, 3 months, get some changes made, discuss among yourselves what is really fair. Because if you think about concentration, is it just a percentage on the street? Because some streets might have 10 dwelling units and other streets might not have like 5 or whatever. Is it 25%? I don't know if anybody would disagree that nearly 50% of dwelling units on a street that's concentration. And with the number of short-term, non-owner occupied, short-term rentals, think about the impact that could have on other streets that also have commercial units. We see that up and down Capitol Avenue, we see it on State Street, we see it on other places, and that's considered into that overall mix. So I would just urge you that go ahead, grandfather the people that are already here. I'm sure some people may not appreciate that I'm speaking against non-owner occupied short-term rentals, but I speak from the heart, someone who's born and raised here in Frankfort, and knowing what impact it has on streets and neighborhoods. People lose their neighbors. People have lost housing that they can no longer rent, that they can no longer live in because of non-owner occupied short-term rentals. So we still have people displaced by the floods. We have a housing affordability crisis. The city has a housing committee recognizing that we don't have enough housing. We need affordable, we need workforce, we need all types of housing. And this is one part. I know it's a complicated problem. There's lots of different angles to go to it, through it, and to address it. But I think this is one important part where you all, as the members of the ARB, can make a solid and fair recommendation to the commission on changes to this ordinance before we impact other streets with a high concentration of non-owner occupied short-term rentals and an impact on our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. It's good timing with, oh, are you here to speak as well? Okay. Please come forward and state your name and address.
John Gillig, 120 West Todd Street. I hadn't actually planned to talk about this, although my wife and I have discussed this very issue, so I'm just going to say amen. And I couldn't, if I had prepared a speech, I could not have done better. So the only thing I would add, and I think this is actually included in the intent, and that is when we talk about commercial, then I think that also would include, or hopefully includes, lobbying firms. And I'm very familiar with that particular area, working for the General Assembly for 11 years. And so, and the last thing I'll say is, for a lot of these firms, I truly believe that for them, it's just something they can say to their member, oh, we're 2 blocks away from the Capitol, we're 3 blocks away from the Capitol. Well, when I worked for the General Assembly, I worked for the Speaker of the House. Members of the House and members of the Senate didn't typically go down to these houses or whatever it is that's there. Northern Kentucky, they'll have a big event. Lots of these places will have an event that members will go to. But the idea that they desperately need to be 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks away from the Capitol, I don't believe that's really applicable. Thank you.
Thank you. No questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
I guess, this applicant's use of this house as her home as well still does not qualify her to be, classified in the other category of short-term rentals. Is this, I guess it's, you know what I'm saying? This is a non-owner occupied short-term rental?
It's currently not her primary residence,
An
right?
owner occupied
So-
is generally understood to, live there pretty much full-time, all of their bills and mail and everything comes to that address kind of thing. I'm not sure if that's what she's describing, or if it is, more of a situation where, a few weeks of the year she would not be there and renting, and I don't know, but.
Yeah, I was wondering about that distinction, and would it make a difference if it was,
Get
The
that.
application as submitted, as I understood it, was for non-owner occupied, according to.
Laurie, we advertised it as non-owner.
non-owner
Right.
occupied? Okay.
So I think we have to use that as our consideration. That's the application, said that advertises that, and we've heard of the second light. Now, there may be a change. I don't know when it's gonna happen, very near future. She said she intends to move back. But I don't think that is critical to this application. I think the recommendation that you made is based upon none of it.
Okay,
I mean, staff's recommendation.
okay, perhaps she could clarify that for us, or you,
What I'm saying is that wouldn't
Doesn't-
help for it.
doesn't
We
help.
didn't advertise it that way.
Yes,
I
she would
think-
basically have to reapply, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
We
what's
may go the other way.
happening-
It's gotta be another application and another notice and another hearing. We can't just change horses in the middle of the meeting.
But I think maybe the applicant does intend to move here in the future and do a more traditional owner occupied. But right now it is non-owner occupied.
okay, I see.
That's what I'm gathering.
Well, I mean, we can ask.
A little murky. It's a
She's
little
right
murky.
here.
She did include a letter, which is in the staff report.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indicated she would be there for about a week every month and for all holidays.
And that's how I understood the submittal. It's not an ongoing residency, it's on and off, is what I understood that to be.
Yes, definitely.
I'm sure that'll make Ms. Haig feel better, but we're going to approve, you know, the application or not, so.
Yeah.
Valid question. Yeah,
Yep.
valid clarification for sure. There any more? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it. I move that in accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfurt zoning ordinance, and considering the testimony, evidence, staff analysis, and findings, the application requested by Judith Steinbach for a certificate of appropriateness for the property at,
Conditional use permit.
oh, I apologize. Conditional use permit. You want that, right?
Yes.
Okay, for a conditional use permit for the property at 719 Woodland Avenue, okay, be approved, subject to the conditions recommended by staff.
I second that.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
And Ms. McIntyre?
Yes, but I would like to say that I think that the people who spoke about the issues had some valid points, but I don't think that there's really any reason to deny it.
Great, and I think that can be a work session topic for this board. We've still got to lay out our agenda for our work sessions. We can take all that into consideration, and we will. So that's good. Okay, we'll move on to item number 6 of new business. Don, if you will please read the proposal.
In accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfurt zoning ordinance, Natalie Wilkerson of CTM Wealth Advisors is requesting a conditional use permit for professional offices at the property located at 421 West Main Street. The property is more particularly identified as PBA map number 061-2405-001.00.
Okay, this application is also for a conditional use permit. However, this one is for professional offices at 421 West Main Street. It's in the Special Historic Zoning District. This is also known as the LeBrat Taylor House. It's primarily Greek Revival in style, built in 1854. It is contributing to the Corner and Celebrities and Central Frankfurt National Register districts. The proposal conforms to the zoning regulations, including the parking requirements and the comp plan. And the most recent use of this building was for offices. However, the CUP does not transfer when ownership changes. Staff is recommending approval. Here is a PBA map to help orient you. It's very close to Liberty Hall on the corner of Wilkinson and West Main. Here are photos, a photo of the rear of the property, which faces south. Here's another photo that gives you a better view of the off-street parking that is included with the property. These are the neighborhood views along Wilkinson, on each side, both west and east, and on West Main. The property is adjacent there to that large office building on West Main, the red brick in the bottom photo. Staff findings for all of the relevant conditions in Article 19 are positive, and we are recommending approval in accordance with the findings on page 4 and 5 of the staff report and the recommended conditions, which are also on page 5.
I have a question. I'll see if others. So it was previously an office, and this will continue its use as an office, but because of
Yes.
the transfer of ownership, they have to go through the process again.
Yes.
Just clarifying for
Yeah, you'll note that
myself.
one condition there is that it is only applicable to this permit issued to this property owner and is not transferable.
Gotcha. Any other questions for Vicky?
That, I have a question. That applies to any conditional use ever, right?
I
mean,
think
it doesn't,
pretty much, yeah.
doesn't
Mhm.
run with the
Doesn't run
land.
with the
Does
land.
not run with the land.
okay. That clarifies it. Thank you.
Thank you. The applicant is present. They'll please come forward and state their name and address.
Natalie Wilkerson. My home address is 510 Ann Street.
Thank you. Did you receive a copy of the staff report
Yes, ma'am.
and agree with the conditions and recommendations for approval?
I do.
Okay. What would you like to tell us about the proposal?
This house is awesome.
Do tell. Better yet, have an open house.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, depending on whether or not you approve. No, I'm kidding. We are, the current offices are located at 307 Washington Street, around the corner. We will be relocating from that contributor to the district to 421 West Main Street. We are excited, so excited, and we're going to be great neighbors. Right, John?
Questions for the applicant?
You care to tell us what you're gonna do with Washington Street? Gonna be a single-family home?
Well, Tucker, as you maybe know, I like single-family homes, and I like holding on to properties.
Awesome.
So I hope that's in its future.
Not to put you on the
yes.
spot or
No,
anything,
no, no.
just
I
curious.
hope that's in its. I hope that's in its future. We need to get over there before we really decide what to do with
Excellent.
it. But yes,
Natalie, we have other offices in or just yours in the new building?
only one office. Yes, only one professional office, one firm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I don't believe any written correspondence were received. No. Are there any members of the public here to speak on this proposal? Being none, is there any discussion amongst the board? I will entertain a motion.
Sure.
Get him, John.
I recommend, or I request a motion that in accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, 19, that
You're gonna approve.
421 West Main Street request be approved based on the findings of fact and the conditions found on pages 4 and 5? Yes. Did I
Second.
miss anything on there?
Conditional use permit for approval.
Yes, thank you.
I second that. Yep.
Please call a roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, looks like item number 7 of new business has been scratched. So we're gonna be moving on to item number 8 of new business. Madam Secretary, if you'll please read the proposal.
In accordance with Articles 4, 13, 17, and 18 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Tony Hatchell of Benu Enterprises is requesting a variance and a certificate of appropriateness to allow an additional 8 square feet of signage at the property located at 105 West 3rd Street The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 062-3105-005.00.
Okay, we're gonna jump back across the river into South Frankfurt now. This application concerns 105 West Third Street, which is on the corner of Third and Capitol Avenue, and it is in the Special Capital Zoning District. And the application is for a variance and a certificate of appropriateness for an additional 8 square feet of signage. This property is a historic late 19th century residence that has been used by the Republican Party of Kentucky for office space since 1974. The lot has been consolidated more than once. The house was recently expanded with a large addition, which was approved for construction by the ARB in 2024. The addition is connected to the historic house at the rear, and it has the appearance of a separate property, which helps to maintain the historic integrity of the original building and the district as a whole. The original house is contributing to the South Frankfurt Neighborhood National Register District. The consolidated lot is approximately 200 by 200 square feet, so it's very large. This property currently has 23 square feet of signage on it. Some of it predates the current zoning ordinance for the Special Capital District, which limits office signage to a maximum of 8 square feet. So, the maximum is 8, and they currently have 23. They are asking for an additional 8. The applicant would like to install a metal or stone plaque on the stone seat wall in front of the new addition, which faces West Third Street. In staff's analysis, the application does not meet all of the conditions to grant a variance, and so we are recommending denial of this application. Here is, oops, that is wrong. I am so sorry, I didn't get that map changed. That is the wrong map. But your staff report, I believe, has the correct map in it, and it is on page 7.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to include the 1907 Sanborn map. The arrow is pointing to the original historic house on the property. You can see that the lot now includes all 4 of those adjacent lots there. And there used to be a house on the east side and a duplex on the west side. This is a rendering of the proposed signage, which is compatible with the existing signage. It's basically the same metal material. They'd like to place it on top of the seat wall as opposed to embed it in the front. And it also, they're also asking, you know, it might be metal, it might be stone, but either of those materials are compatible with what's on the property and also in the district. However, you know, it's more about the amount of existing signage rather than the design and materials. Here's some photos that show you the existing signage. The signs near the flagpole were installed in 1979, according to the street file that I reviewed. The sign along Capitol Avenue was installed in 2003. Here's a photo of the new addition and the seat wall in the front, where the new sign is proposed for installation on top. I've also included a couple of photos of comparable properties. You might remember, and again, this particular property is located not on a corner lot, but it is on Capitol Avenue. It's 418 Capitol. It does have a lot with similar square footage in total, although it is not, you know, located on a corner. But this property was granted a variance and certificate of appropriateness for the sign that you see here by this board like 2 or 3 years ago. And then the other property that's comparable is at 401 Capitol Avenue, which is also on a large corner lot. It does have similar square footage and a limestone wall around the perimeter. It is used as offices for the Kentucky Educational Association, but the only signage is the lettering that is placed on the entrance and tablature above the door there. Staff has more negative than positive findings for the required conditions for a variance listed in Article 18. Those are in the staff report on page 3 and 4. I have also included in the staff report an analysis provided by the applicant of those conditions, and you could choose to adopt those findings or devise your own if you do not agree with staff. However, based on the information contained in the application, our evaluation within the context of the property's significance, neighborhood character, preservation goals for the city of Frankfort, compliance with the comprehensive plan, compliance with the existing zoning regulations, and in accordance with the findings on page 4 and 5 of the staff report, we are recommending denial of this request. I'm happy to answer any questions. Before I do, though, I will let you know that if you do grant the variance, a separate action will be needed to grant the certificate of appropriateness. And staff does find the design and materials to be compatible with the existing signage. In the event the variance is granted, we would recommend granting the COA with the conditions that are on page 7.
Questions for Vicky?
I have a question. Is this just gonna be replacement of the existing signs, or this will be include placement of a,
They have not suggested that they will remove any signage, although staff did suggest that that might be a better avenue for them to take.
okay, so the signs that are already there are gonna stay where they are as they are, is that correct?
That's my understanding, that's staff's understanding,
Okay,
yes.
and the new signage would be in front of the addition?
It would be in front of the addition.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
So just to, in review, 8 square feet's roughly the current ordinance, and then there's currently 23, 24 square feet. They're asking for an additional 8, so they get you around 31.
So it'll be around 31.
And you've got one building that has the appearance of 2 on that corner, and we've got 2 different signs that are already out there. One says the Mitch McConnell Building, the other one's a corner one that's the Republican Party. This
Right.
one would be on the opposite street of the other Mitch McConnell one. So there's effectively 4 signs with potentially 4 times the amount of signage on the same property.
If you grant the variance.
Yes, if granted, yes, correct. Okay, thanks.
I do have a question, and it's probably not for you, but is the Mitch McConnell Building the entire thing? Or just the new addition?
I don't think I should answer that question.
Okay.
I don't know.
I just find it a little confusing as to what's what, and perhaps they need to kind of think about that.
I mean, technically, it is an addition. It is connected to the main building.
I agree with you, Patty. I think it has the appearance of being 2 buildings, which is how I know that staff steered them in that direction for a particular reason. So it does seem confusing that you would have signs designating the Mitch McConnell Building on 2 different street frontages when it has the appearance of being 2 separate buildings. So it's like, which one is it? Which is the Mitch McConnell Building?
For clarification, and just to make sure you saw it in the staff report, there is language in the ordinance that says that each separate office may have a sign limited to 2 square feet that's fascia mounted, so on the face of the building. So as I interpret that, it would seem that that addition could have that amount of signage attached to the front of the building, not the wall, but
That made sense to me.
which is not in this proposal.
And that would have been administratively approved.
Any other questions for Vicky? Thank you. If the applicant or representative thereof is present, if they'll please come forward and state their name and address.
Well, I'm staff at our Republican Party.
Please come forward and state your name and address.
My name is Catherine Bell. I live at 108 Elm Street, Versailles, Kentucky.
And did you or have you seen and received a copy of the staff report?
I received a copy as I was walking out the door.
Okay. And have you seen the recommendations and agree with the findings in the report?
Well, I've seen that. Yeah, no, I don't. I think we need a sign out there. People don't know that that building is part of us. And it is clearly a different building. You can't walk out the front door without going onto the sidewalk to walk in the other building.
And do you understand, like, what staff was presenting about where you could fit into the guidelines with signage on the building?
Pardon me?
You could fit into our requirements or adhere to our guidelines with signage attached to the building?
Oh, attached to the building?
Yeah,
I guess we could think about that.
okay. Okay. Any other questions for the applicant?
And correct me if I'm wrong, Vicki, but I remember reading in here, I think it was discussed about having the current signage and then adding the signage. Has there been any consideration about reducing the signage to allow the signage? Because I completely understand, having driven by there is no official signage in front of that addition. And desiring to want something at that location. But looking at it in total, you do have the potential, you have 3 locations of signs, 2 on one street and 1 on the other, with the corner being the flagpole. This ends up being that 4th one. Was there any consideration in reducing what you have so that you have a sign at that location?
Well, I mean, this is the first time I've heard of it, that maybe we should remove a sign.
Sure.
And I'm assuming that if we did that, we would remove the McConnell building sign that's on Capitol. Does that mean that I remove the whole wall, or do I just remove the sign?
I don't think we can get into things like that. I'd encourage you to work with staff to figure out the
But
regulations.
I can consider that. I certainly cannot make that decision by myself. That's not my pay grade. But I can certainly go back and discuss it with my group and let them understand, that we do have too much signage, and that it is, if we remove this sign, we can have another sign.
Sure.
I think it's
I
a
can
good
certainly do that.
solution.
Can I ask a question, Commissioner? Were you given authorization to explain let me indicate, you have 23 square feet. The ordinance says you can have 8. So adding additional is an additional non-conformity of the signs. Did they give you any information as to why this board should address a non-conforming sign, why it's needed, or why it is appropriate?
No,
Okay.
no. I mean, I guess
We may want to
we probably
table
should.
this to allow her to, see what
It's a
needs
good
to be
idea.
done, okay?
That's a
Yeah.
very good idea.
Strongly encourage you to get with Vicky and think about all options, and
I can certainly do that.
so I guess I entertain a motion for that. So moved.
Got a hand up.
Got a hand up.
We got a hand up.
Oh, sorry.
Where?
We'll take public comment after
Right.
she's done.
Even if we table it?
Oh, I don't,
No, we can't do anything after we table.
no, we can't take.
I have a question. Learning a lot in this meeting, coincidentally. If we are going to table this, do we take public comment?
No, I would not do that. I would say we're not, that way we're opening up part of the way and not part of the way. That's gonna be inappropriate for advertising too. I think we should table it, we table the entire item and we hear it again.
And public comment can come forth at that time, because it might look very, very different.
But how are we gonna take public comments when they can't tell us why it should be
Right.
Yeah.
changed?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I would move we table this
Proposal.
item, yes.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you. Now, we are moving on to item number 9 of new business. Dawn, if you will please read the proposal.
In accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfurt zoning ordinance, Osvaldo Martinez is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a non-owner occupied short-term rental at the property located at 509 Shelby Street. The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 062-3201-021.00.
Okay, this is for the property at 509 Shelby Street, which is a very significant historic property to both the city of Frankfurt and the state of Kentucky. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a non-owner occupied short-term rental. This is in the Special Capital Historic Zoning District. This property was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It is a 4-bedroom, 2-story house built in 1910 for Jesse Ziegler. It was listed individually on the National Register of Historic Places with state significance in 1976. It is also a contributing building to the South Frankfurt Neighborhood National Register District. Again, we do have that cap in place of 5% of total dwelling units out of 56 total. If this is approved this evening, this will be number 45. This application does comply with the existing zoning regs and parking requirements, the comprehensive plan, and we are recommending approval with conditions. Here's the PVA map, which is the correct map this time. I've got some additional photos here of both the front and the rear of the property where you can see there is 2 additional spaces for off-street parking in addition to the parking in the front along the street. Here are some neighborhood photos of Shelby Street. That's on the west side. And on the east side, the findings for the general conditions that must be met in Article 19 for a CUP are all positive. And we are recommending approval in accordance with the suggested findings of fact on page 4 and 5 of your staff report and the recommended conditions on page 5.
Questions for Vicki?
I have one question. Like one of the previous ones, are there adjacencies that, I mean, I didn't see a map in here that had the adjacencies like.
Oh,
previous,
right. I did not include.
Of other similar.
I did not include a map for this particular one showing nearby because they were not quite as concentrated as over on Woodland. There is a 10-unit apartment building on the corner of Shelby and 4th Street, I believe. And
Campbell.
or Campbell. Is it Campbell?
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
Campbell.
it's Campbell.
Oh. In the
You're
report,
right.
it's 4th and Shelby.
That would be the closest one, and I think that those units were made into short-term rentals prior to the change in the ordinance. So it might be that all of them, and there are 10 units, I believe, are operated that way. But I'm not exactly sure if it's all of them or just a portion of them. There's also one registered at the barracks, which is in the next block south, but I'm not sure if that's currently operational either.
It's right next door to me, it is.
Okay.
Just a moment, we
Yeah.
can only take testimony when the court reporter can get it down. So if the audience can wait and come up and talk, that would be better.
but there are none other on that 500 block of Shelby Street.
Thank you.
And I just wonder, moving forward, if we shouldn't ask for grandfathered in numbers too. You know, if we've grandfathered in some of these Airbnbs, and we're not including them in the cap,
But do we know
Why are
those
they not
numbers?
included?
because we said if they were already operating Airbnb before the,
We did?
the, what it passed, the resolution or whatever passed, they could still continue to operate.
That they're,
I don't
they
think
can still operate, but I think they're supposed to be included, cause they're supposed, this number supposedly came from the city, the ones that have permits to be, right?
Does the 45 include grandfathered in properties?
It does.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
That's my understanding, yes.
I feel much
I would
better
hope
then.
so.
I was like, thought about that. Okay,
It's the permitted ones.
okay. So I take it there were no more questions for Vicki?
No.
Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and address? Or applicants?
Osvaldo Martinez.
And Parker Borowski. We live at 7804 Carnes Road in Townsend, Tennessee.
Gotcha, thank you. Did you receive a copy of the staff report?
We actually did not.
Okay.
We did look for it, but we did not see one.
We live in a small little town.
did send it to Tennessee.
We live in a small town, maybe it's
It's a small
slow.
little town. I have to go to the post office all the time to get it now.
So the staff report contains suggested conditions for each approval and recommendations and conditions for approval. You can read those on this presentation, but we like to know that you're aware of them and that you agree with them
Yes,
under normal circumstances.
yes, I did read them.
So, you're agreeing to those now. Okay, and what would you like to tell us about the proposal?
So we're really excited about this particular house. Our daughter, we actually named her Taliesin after Frank Lloyd Wright's Taliesin West in Phoenix. And she's 20 years old now, so we've been fans for a very long time. The historic significance to the state and the city is not lost on us. I'm just emotional because we're excited to share it with other people and so they can experience some of the architectural significance. So, yeah, we're getting Frank Lloyd Wright furniture, furnishings, historic furnishings. We've gotten on auctions and so forth. So, you know, the city's been great and welcomed us in. I don't know, I'm emotional.
It's a lot of pressure. We've thought about ways to make it so pressurized, but it is.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else you'd like us to know?
No, I mean, we are looking forward to the opportunity and plan to keep it very much intact as it is, you know, and definitely with profits that we get, we intend to put it back into the property. Landscaping, there's some details that need attention and everything, but, you know, of course, any changes that need to be made, we would run through the architectural board, but our intention is to keep it very much in line with as it should be. So.
And is there gonna be any sort of like screening of who, I don't know the right word for it, but
Yeah, absolutely. So the channels that would be used for short-term rentals definitely have screenings, guests with reviews, guests that have been, so for example, Airbnb. We can have requirements where they, you know, have been on Airbnb a certain amount of time or have a certain rating, but our intention is it probably will not be an inexpensive short-term rental. And it'll probably be catered to those that can appreciate and want to come and see Frank Lloyd Wright. This is not frat party Airbnb. This is, you know, historic appreciative type guests that we're looking for the property.
Yeah. Other questions?
I have a comment.
Comments?
For what it's worth.
Questions?
I just think it's great that you mentioned more people being able to see it. As far as I know, I've been here 41 years, and I've never been inside of this place. And I think it's neat to, I know we have the issue of concentration, or concerns, I should say, with concentration of Airbnbs, and we have concerns about who might actually inhabit the property under your all's ownership. But the fact that more people get to be in it, I mean, I can only think of one other use for this property that would make sense, and it'd be a museum. So, I mean, as far as I know, there might be 2 owners of it.
Oh, there've been more than that. 4 or 5.
I don't know.
41
Several
more.
more.
And it was on the home tour last year.
It was, yes.
And we would love to
We-
keep it
we're
on
trying
things
to
like
kinda-
that.
That would be great.
We would love to.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Diversion.
I am comforted that you specifically say you're not going to alter the architecture and the interior things. It's lovely.
Yep.
And it's the only Frank Lloyd Wright house in the state.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think it's lost on you, the significance of this piece of property, not only to Frankfurt, but a lot.
Yeah.
And I personally do not own or operate an Airbnb, and I don't know how you insure, but I feel like there has to be, I would hate for something to go wrong with this concept.
No, absolutely. We, no agreements and understandings and so forth. And we have a lot invested in it as well, like the furniture that we're purchasing, we got some on an auction, we're spending quite a bit of money on it, so it's in our best interest as well to
Right.
ensure it's in good condition. And you also have, after each guest, the cleaners are going in, maintenance, as well. And we do have some local friends also to check in. We're not too far away, but they're local as well in case we ever needed that, so, yeah.
Do you operate any other Airbnb units anywhere else? Or?
We do, in our property in Townsend, Tennessee, where we live, we actually have 5 rentals on property. And so we're very experienced with that. We bought that property in 2020. And so it's not, we actually live on property with them, which is great. And so we had great experience with that, interacting with guests, and no incidents, no wild parties or anything. So we also very carefully screen those as well.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Great, thank you.
And if there are members of the public that would like to speak on this proposal, if you'll please raise your hand. 1, 2, okay. If you'll please come forward and state your name and your address.
All right. Hi, my name is Allie Hall. I live in an apartment on 733 Woodland Avenue. So I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a resident of South Frankfurt. I'm urging the board just in general to consider, like we've talked about, the concentration of short-term rentals. Living in this community and working in this community, it's a goal of mine long-term to be able to buy in South Frankfurt. And so every time something gets classified as a short-term rental, it feels like an opportunity has been taken away from the next generation of South Frankfurt residents. But just in general, when I moved to Frankfurt in 2021, the sense of community here is unlike anything I've experienced in any other town. I think it's really special. And the Ziegler House is a point of pride for the capital city, as you guys know. But I want to discuss more specifically with the city ordinance, with the maximum number of persons residing, 2 times the number of bedrooms plus 4. So we're looking at potentially 12 people being able to stay.
Does this relate to this item? I'm concerned that we're talking about topics that we're supposed to act on, but we haven't advertised. And we haven't allowed anybody to come in and make comments. they don't relate to this specific item, I think we need to be very careful what we do tonight.
Are you talking about how many people could potentially stay in this
Yes.
specific home?
So specific to this item, according to the ordinance, there could be 12 people that could stay
That's the way I follow
in the home. Thank you. And so just kind of considering that, in terms of the already limited street parking on Shelby Street that we all are aware of. So I just wanted to call attention to the 12 occupants and parking situation specifically. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There are other members or members of the public?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Please state your name and address.
Tony Boer, 300 South Styler Drive, Shelbyville, Kentucky.
What was your last name again? I'm sorry.
Boer, B-O-E-R.
Thank you.
I am a personal friend of Parker, but I live here in Kentucky, Shelbyville, just the next county over. I had a property here in Frankfort, but I lost it in the flood last year. And so, but anyhow, just wanted to be of help to Parker as I helped her choose this home, knowing that she loves Frank Lloyd Wright as much as she does and what they appreciate of his work. And I have Airbnb properties throughout Kentucky myself, and just knowing what the Kentucky Economic Impact Study shows for the guests that are coming here and the appreciation that they have shown, especially to historical properties, and not everyone wanting to stay in a hotel type place. And for those that want to appreciate being able to stay in a home like this and of its stature, it's not something that you get to do all the time. And I think that that's important to recognize. So just wanting to note that. And I think it's also important to note that most travelers, if there's 12 people that can sleep in that home, I know when I travel with a group of people, we're not each individually driving 12 cars. If people are driving to the area, they carpool or they're flying in and they're renting a car or two. So 12 people, that's usually 2 to 3 cars. And this property shows that it can handle 2 to 3 cars. So,
Thank you. Other members of the public, if you'll please come forward, state your name and address.
John Walker, 214 West Main Street. Actually just wrote a short comment. It's a little easier for me if that's okay.
Yeah.
I live in downtown Frankfort, and I work as curator of collections at Liberty Hall Historic Site. And while I don't speak on behalf of that organization, I hope it brings a little weight just working at a historic home and a home that's been preserved for almost 100 years now. And I just want to comment on this. The Reverend Ziegler home, the reasons, I just want to actually ask the body to respectfully consider not approving the application. And the reasons for that are diverse and they're plentiful, but I'll focus on just a couple. As someone whose profession is the responsibility and the care for a home that is a museum in this community, seeing the Ziegler house turned into a short-term rental, and let's be honest, like short-term rentals are essentially short-term hotels, at least in my belief. It's not in the interest of the community. Our community may have a dependence on tourism, and we all know that, but there are options aplenty for people visiting Frankfort, including 2 new hotels that just opened up on the north side of the river. If you talk about Frank Lloyd Wright in America, people think one of the most famous architects. In fact, it's probably the only architect most people can name. But nonetheless, Wright made a cultural impact on our nation. We all know that. And he combined celebrity with art and put American architecture on the world stage. His work is considered a turning point in the 20th century, and we can list his things even on the World Heritage Site since 2019. There's a plethora of places for people to see Wright's work in this nation, but there's only one place in Kentucky. And Reverend Ziegler, when he just happened to meet Frank Lloyd Wright in Europe, was just happenstance. It was a very special moment for us. And it happened at a time when people had given up on the state. We were a state of extraction. We were a state of exploitation. 1910 was not really a good time to be in Kentucky. And I just think that the fact that he was bold enough to ask Frank Lloyd Wright to build him a home. I think the fact that it was a man who lived in his community and was a major part of the spiritual health of his community, wanted to be in town, wanted to know his neighbors because he had to. That was the life he had chosen. went up to the most famous architect of his generation and said, I would like a house where I'm from. And he was able to deliver that. I agree, as someone who helps run a museum, I would love for it to be a museum. I know that's a dream world situation. At the same time, when I moved to Frankfurt in 2024, someone on the street came up to me, a neighbor of mine now, and they said, welcome to Bourbon Disney, right? Like, there is, I'm sorry for the applicants, there is a feeling here now that it's hard to live downtown and anywhere. There were 4 places for me to live downtown. One was somewhat affordable, right? And I made a choice to live downtown because I wanted to be really a part of my community and not have that extra commute. I would think that the applicants are extremely meaningful and they really, really want to take care of this home, but we also have a problem. And you've heard it from many people tonight. I deep down think that no short-term renter, even someone who appreciates Wright's work, could take care of this place as well as someone living in the home. There's an accountability to your neighbors, there's an accountability to the people you live around. And 12 people is a lot. And we know why people come and do bourbon tours, and some of them are great, most of them are great. Many are not, and there are horror stories, and I've heard some of them as well. So just thoughts to think on. And even if it doesn't affect your decision tonight, I think something, I'm not sure if in the future there can be stipulations or some sort of change in the way we deal with these very, very important historic homes, specifically something like this. We hold a treasure for one house for 120 counties. It is different. It is an exception. And I think it's something that I would at least encourage you all to think about with your decision tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more member of the public, please state your name and address.
Hello, Melissa Gowan, 4615 Stone Ridge Road, Crestwood, Kentucky, 40014. Soon to move to 4452 Frankfurt Road in Shelbyville, Kentucky. So I just wanted to attest that I'm a personal friend of Parker's, as well as a business colleague of hers as well. And I can attest to her character, that she's very professional. She deeply cares about this house. She is not going to allow it to be abused. As short-term rental owners, we invest a ton of money in these properties. We have just as much interest as you guys to preserve this property. And as a, excuse me, short-term rental owner myself in Frankfurt, in Lawrenceburg, and Louisville, you know, I'm at my properties all the time. They are better than my own home. We take care of these properties better than our own home because they are our income and our livelihood. And I can attest personally that Parker would take care of this property. And I live in the area, and I've also am going to be helping her take care of the property. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there discussion?
Applicant's got one more.
Oh, sorry, just want to say one thing. Just to
State-
put,
Please state your
oh.
name again for the record.
Parker Borowski. And I just wanted to say that I have no intention of cramming 12 people into this house at any time. So I believe in no more than 4 per bathroom anyway, so 6 to 8 max. I don't know if this matters. I guess we could put 12 if we wanted to, but that's not our intention whatsoever. So I know that was brought up a couple times. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No discussion?
I wanted to add, as
State your name again, please.
Tony Boer, as the real estate agent on this transaction, there were 4 offers on this property when it was for sale, when Parker also was an offer. All 4 offers were to use this home as a short-term rental. None of them were to use it as a personal residence.
Thank you. All right.
No question.
You did?
I don't.
Okay. I'm here to entertain a motion.
I move that in accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfurt zoning ordinance, and considering the testimony, evidence, staff analysis, and findings, the application requested by Osvaldo Martinez for a conditional use permit for the property at 509 Shelby Street be approved, subject to any conditions recommended by staff.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
It's a difficult one, but I suppose, based on everything, the response is yes.
And Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to new business. Item number 10. Donna, if you'll please read the proposal.
In accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfurt zoning ordinance, Mark Brown is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to construct a rear addition at the property located at 220 West Campbell Street. The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 062-1323-015.00.
Okay, we are going to jump over to 220 West Campbell Street, which is around the corner from where we just were. This property is also located in the Special Capital Historic Zoning District, and it is an application for a certificate of appropriateness for the construction of a rear two-story addition. This house is a craftsman-style bungalow. It was built in the early 1920s. It has a moderate level of alteration, primarily with the artificial siding that's been applied, but it does have many original historic wood windows. The house is evaluated as contributing to the South Frankfurt Neighborhood National Register District. The proposal meets the majority of the design guidelines for the Special Capital Historic Zoning District, and staff is recommending approval. Here's a PVA map. The property is located between Shelby and Steel Street on West Campbell. And here's a photo of the 1925 Sanborn map with the arrow pointing to the property in the upper left corner. Here are photos of both the east and west sides of the house, as well as the rear of the house and the backyard. And here is a site plan showing the addition at the rear. So the rear dormer wall is basically just going to be projecting out into the yard. The roof line is not changing. It appears the height is remaining the same as the height of the dormer. And they're even planning to keep the majority of the fenestration that exists on the back of the house intact. You have the current conditions on the left, and the drawing on the right shows the addition in place. So the plan, as described by the applicant, includes keeping the historic windows and reusing them on the addition. This drawing shows the east elevation. You can see it does not include openings. The addition is inset from the side walls, and so it's going to be minimally visible from the public right-of-way. You'll probably get a glimpse of it from Campbell, and if the leaves are down, you might be able to see a little bit of it from Steel Street. But because it's, set in from the side walls a bit, it's not going to be very visible. So based on the information in the application and staff's evaluation within the context of the property's significance, key features, integrity, neighborhood character, and preservation goals for the city, we do recommend that you issue a certificate of appropriateness for this proposal in accordance with the findings and recommended conditions on page 3.
Are there questions for Vicki? It looks like that large window at the rear is original. Are those others?
In my estimation, the larger window with the multi-panes in it is a little bit newer than the
Really?
historic 4/1 windows. But it does appear to be wood, and they are planning to reuse it.
So the overall size of the addition is, it looks like to me, it's, looking at the drawings, it's 20 feet deep by 15 and a half feet wide.
Yeah, I think I calculated it at about 600 square feet. The house itself is a little over 1,000. It's a very small bungalow. I think our design guidelines discuss, trying to keep additions like 30% or less, but I think when you're dealing with a really small structure, it's hard to do that, especially because of the cost of new construction, which is gonna be high, whether you're, putting more or less. You're gonna get a lot more value for a little bit larger.
Is that guidance more geared towards additions to the sides or top of the house?
And more visible locations as well.
And this is not that?
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Vicki? Thank you. Is the applicant or a representative of the applicant present? And if so, please come forward. State your name and address.
Thank you. Mark Brown, 220 West Campbell Street.
And did you receive a copy of the staff report?
Yes.
And do you agree with the conditions for approval and the findings in the report?
I do.
Okay. What do you want to tell us about this?
Just a little background information. We moved into the house in 2006 and have had two kids, a 16-year-old and 11-year-old son and daughter. And their, growing interests, activities, and needs require more space than we have right now. And this addition would help us make that possible.
Any questions for the applicant?
No, but bless you for having two almost teenagers and 1,000 square feet.
I was gonna say, is it really for
Bursting
them
at
or
the seams as
you?
it is myself.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion? I will entertain a motion. It's her turn.
I'll do it again. I move that in accordance with Articles 4, 16, 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, and considering the testimony, evidence, staff analysis, and findings, the application requested by Mark Brown at, am I at the right one? Yeah, 220 West Campbell Street, for a certificate of appropriateness for the property at 220 West Campbell Street be approved, subject to the conditions recommended by staff.
Second.
Donna, if you'll please call roll.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Switched up the order on this.
You were paying attention.
On to item number 11, of new business. Donna, if you'll please read the request.
In accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Leslie O'Brien Palmer, on behalf of Catherine Wood Hall and Patrick Jennings, is requesting a conditional use permit for professional offices for the property located at 212 Washington Street. The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 061-2408-004.00.
Okay, this is our final application this evening. We're going to jump back over the river to the north side of it, to the Special Historic Zoning District. And this property is located at 212 Washington Street. The application is for a conditional use permit for professional offices. This is known as the Macklin House. It is a Greek Revival style townhouse. It was built in 1850, and it is contributing to the Corner Inn Celebrities and Central Frankfort National Register districts. This property did recently change hands. The new owners would like to move their offices there. The property was most recently a residence, but it has been used as a law office in the past. Prior to that, actually, just prior to the most recent owner. The proposal conforms to the zoning regulations, including parking requirements and the comp plan. The most recent use of this building was for a residence, as I said before, and staff is recommending approval of this application. There's a PVA map showing you the location. It's near the intersection of West Main and Washington. Here are photos of the north and south sides of the building. Here's a view of the rear of the property. Also streetscape views along Washington on the west side of the street and also on the east side. The staff findings for the relevant conditions in Article 19 are all positive, and we are recommending approval in accordance with the suggested findings of fact and recommended conditions. I believe are on page 3. No? Page 4 and 5. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for Vicki?
I have one. Was part of this at least used as a short-term rental previously in the last few years?
It may have been, but it would have been an owner occupied. There is I believe there is an apartment. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't been inside the building, but that's my understanding. The carriage house is separate. It was separated from the property prior to 2018. And so
But I think that's what you're referring to.
Well, I
There-
seem to
there-
recall it was on the garden tour like a few years ago.
Yes,
couple
I
years
believe
ago.
it- I believe it
And I'm thinking
was.
that maybe the upstairs
And there was, I believe there
separate.
was an apartment up there, and
STU or
they may have
something.
been using it as a short-term rental, but when it's owner occupied, it does not require a conditional use
I
permit.
see. Okay, okay.
Oh, so even this building had an apartment in it.
Well, that's my recollection, that
didn't realize
the
that.
upstairs was a short-term rental, and the family was down on the, that was probably two or more years ago, maybe longer than that.
I don't think I knew that.
This applicant has indicated to staff that the intention is to only use the building for office space.
Any other questions for Vicki? Thank you. If the applicant or a representative of the applicant is present, if you'll please come forward and state your name and address.
My name's Patrick Jennings. Home address is 1716 Rivercrest Court, Prospect, Kentucky.
And I'm Kate Woodhall. My home address is 12401 Mistletoe Road in Anchorage, Kentucky.
Did you all receive a copy of the staff report, and do you agree with its conditions for approval and recommendations?
So we did not receive a copy, I think was a mail
We have
forwarding
never had
issue,
such
but
terrible luck at this.
So far, she's 1 for 9.
I mean, this is Going out with a bang on my last.
It's the postal service.
Yeah, I was supposed to get my passport today. It's still not there, so.
It's all your fault.
It is. You blame it on me. I'll take that one. I'm sorry, that isn't just, but.
No, but we do certainly agree with the staff recommendations and findings.
Okay, and we have them up there and you agree with them and, okay, it's an important part of it. Do you wanna tell us anything about the proposal?
Sure, I would just quickly say, our current, we've had our business in Frankfurt now going back to 2003 and then started renting property in 2008. A few years ago, Kate and I were fortunate enough to purchase the Owsley House at 314 West Main, where I think was 1830, so we're becoming a little bit more modern, going up to 1850. But we have done our best to try to maintain the historic nature of that home, and we'll be committed to do the same as well. I think some of you guys probably have been through it with the garden tour, and the Wingate family did an amazing job renovating that, and we're certainly committed to maintaining that historic nature. We're making the move. It's about a block and a half from where we are, simply because we've just outgrown the space that we're currently in and looking for a little additional office space.
The only thing I would have to add is appreciate your consideration. Happy to answer questions if you have any. So.
What's gonna happen with the Owsley house?
So Kate and I are currently deciding. We've had, I know the theater has reached out to us about potentially acquiring it for additional office space, and we've had a couple of other groups reach out and just try to get an intent of if it's sale or leasing or those things. So we're just, once we kind of formally make our move over, we're going to kind of turn our attention and have those conversations with those. So.
I would just add that the Owsley House, of course, doesn't really have a formal kitchen, so it's probably not usable for residential as it is, so.
Any other questions for the applicants?
Take out.
We've done a lot of that.
Thank you. Any members of the public here to speak on this proposal? Okay, there being none, do we have any discussion? Giving a lot of residential space away tonight, aren't we?
This was not residential.
It was.
It was?
The Wingate family was there. I sold it. Okay. I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve in accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 for 212 Washington Street, the conditional use permit based on the findings of fact and recommendations found on pages 4 and 5 that we move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Donna, if you'll please call the roll.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Ms. Cross?
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
And Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item number 12. Under new business, no, sorry. Citizen comments. Are there any members of the public here to speak? That have not already spoken, want to speak again? We thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it. With that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.